Hello my fellow creators and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvette and I am part of the Kat Scrappiness creative crew. We are excited to share the first part of the Kat Scrappiness Valentine's Day release. Now to follow along on this hop, you can either use the hashtag on screen now as well as in the title of the video, or you'll find a link to a playlist in the description box below. Now today's hop is a giveaway opportunity. For details on how to enter, check out the description box below. So let me share some of the goodies that I received. I did receive the Vintage Romance paper pad, and we'll flip through these in just a bit. The Love Doodles gold paper pad, and the Love Doodles black paper pad. Now there are some stencils in the release. So the first stencil I'm going to show you is the A2 Kubert quilt coordinating stencil. So this stencil does coordinate with the A2 Kubert quilt die, and I think that's a perfect pairing. Our next stencil is the Love Blooms layered stencil set, and this includes 2 stencils. So your first layer has a flourish of hearts and some flowers, really pretty. And then your second layer has all your greenery. So this is really pretty because this will make your little bouquets of hearts and flowers. Our next stencil is the Love Doodles 6x6 stencil. And look how pretty it has the word love, some little arrows and hearts, and XOXO. Really pretty stencil. It's kind of a real festive Valentine's Day background. Our next stencil is the Love is in the Air 6x6 stencil, and this is a flurry of hearts and polka dots. Now you could use this with ink blending or maybe some glitter paste. Really, really pretty background. The stamp set that I received is the Vintage Romance stamp set, and there are coordinating dies available for purchase. And look how detailed this die is. It cuts out all the little spaces between the spokes of the bicycle. That is really good attention to detail. And then let's just take a real quick look at the images here. This little bicycle image is a nice large focal point, and you have your 2 little flourishes of flowers, your little vintage record player with some flowers coming out of it, a vintage radio, a vintage typewriter, a vintage phone, and then this stack of books with a vintage camera. I just love the images on this stamp set. Now let's just flip through these paper pads real quickly, and you can just see all the beautiful prints on these papers. And I have to say, the quality of the cardstock of these patterned papers is second to none. It is a nice sturdy patterned paper that is easy to work with. Now each of these paper pads does come with 24 sheets of double-sided patterned paper. And each of the paper pads has 12 designs with 4 of each design in each paper pad. And I like that we have patterned paper that coordinates with a stamp set because that can give you some inspiration on how to color your stamped images. Bailar, bailar, bailar con mi corazón. Bailar. Oh, and we also have these little sprinkles. I have the Twitter Pated Sprinkle Mix, and then we have Hugs and Kisses Sprinkle Mix, and the Love Notes sprinkles, and also Be Mine sprinkles. So now to choose, what am I going to use first to make today's card? I think I'm going to use one of the paper pads, and I will bring in the Love Blooms layered stencils, and of course definitely be using our Vintage Romance stamp set and dies. So I'm starting out here by stenciling with the first layer on some white cardstock. And I am just using some of my Gina K inks. So this is Innocent Pink. And I'm kind of ink blending mostly where the hearts are and trying to stay away from the little flower images, the little blooms, because I'm going to come in with a second color on those. Alright, then I'm going to come in with Peach Bellini and kind of go over the little floral images. And then once I get that done, I am going to come back with my pink blending brush and kind of go over the entire card panel. So now I'm going to come in with some apple mint and do all the greenery. And I'm just going to use one color for this portion of the stenciling. I want to keep this a real soft and pastelish looking card. Oh, and look how pretty that turned out. All right, next I am seeing which image I like best for the card, and that bicycle definitely won out. It is a nice large focal point, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that using my Misty. And then once I have that stamped out, I will be die cutting it with my mini Empress. So I am going to go ahead and color this off camera, and I'll be right back. Now that I have my image all stamped, colored, and cut, we can kind of start to put our card together. But when I laid this out, I thought, well, what sentiment am I going to use? So I brought in this older die that I had. It's the Love You Word with Shadow die. And so I thought that would look good there. Then the next thing was, I didn't really like how the bike was just looking like it was floating there. So I brought in some of the patterned paper, of course, which is what I used to cut out the Love You sentiment. And this was from the Love Doodles Black. So I'm going to cut about 3/4 of an inch strip of the pattern paper using the solid pink side. And that's going to be kind of my ground or my sidewalk that the bicycle will be standing on. Oh, and another thing I did off camera was I did stamp and color these little floral images on a piece of white cardstock to add to the inside of our card. Now, this could be a Valentine's Day card, a birthday card, just I love you card, hello friend, anything you want to make it. The sentiment on the front simply says love you. So the inside you could put happy birthday, get well. You could make this card work for almost any occasion. So before I go ahead and attach my stenciled panel to my card base, I wanted to add a little bit of definition between this layer and the card base. So I'm going to come back in with some of that innocent pink and do a little bit of ink blending around the edges of the panel. And I think that does the trick. So let's put our card together. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiment together. And I got to say, my reverse tweezers are like my third hand. They really help me when I'm putting together detailed die cuts like this. So I'm using my Barely Art glue and attaching the sentiment to the shadow. Now I am going to go ahead and pop up that sentiment with some foam tape from my stash. Alright, now that I have my sentiment placed, I'm going to go ahead and decide where to place my little bicycle image. And I'm just going to attach that flat to the panel using more of my Barely Art glue. And next I'm going to go ahead and attach that inside panel to the inside of our card base, and then attach that front panel to the front of our card base. And as one last finishing touch, I am adding some of the little gems in the Twitter painted sprinkle mix, and just sprinkle a few around the front of the card using my embellishment pickup tool. Now I will have all the supplies I've used listed in the description box below. And there you have my completed card using the wonderful products from the Love Blooms release. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I'd be thrilled if you subscribe to my YouTube channel or followed me on any of my other social media platforms. As always, have a beautiful, safe, and creative day. Thanks for watching. Bye!